Jubilee is a Black Feminist Homecoming. Y'all.
Hey y'all, I'm Aeon.
And I'm the Lioness.
And you're listening to Box number 512 podcast.
Grown Black Trans Woman Talk. Changing your world one conversation at a time.
The show begins now. Welcome to another installment of Box number 512 podcast, Grown Black Trans Woman Talk. I am your co-host, Aeon.
And I'm the Lioness. How y'all feeling?
So, girl, let's just have this conversation was inspired by, I listened to the Friend Zone podcast, and a couple of episodes ago, they just talked about their favorite summer memories or just things that they did in the summer when they were a kid, and it kind of triggered me to want to discuss like some of my experiences as a child, and mainly just talk about how even as a child I had like an intensely queer country southern fried country summers. So from I don't know how early it started, but up until I was about 11 or 10, every summer, so I'm originally from Maryland. We moved to Baltimore like in 96, but every summer, my mom would send me to Columbus, Georgia, every summer to stay with my aunt and uncle. And those are like was some of my earliest memories of summer. When I was younger, I used to love coming to Columbus, Georgia. I don't know if it was like family, it was like the family aspect, or it was just different from where I was at, or it kind of made me feel special that I had this other place that I could come to when I was younger that other people didn't other people didn't have. But it wasn't until I got older that I realized that well, particularly amongst Black folks, that was a thing where you would send your kid. Like, if you are from the North, some parents would send their kids to the South for the summer, like to be with other relatives or to be with other family. And I know for me, it was easier for my mom to work because she didn't have to like pay for childcare or all that other shit when I was younger. But
and look, she could pull a Stella, get her groove back while you was out of
right. I was a child. She was probably doing this, that, and a third, but I just remember being young. One thing I used to do when I was younger, I would do the summer programs at the Boys and Girls Club in Columbus. And those usually used to be the highlight of my summer. And for what I remember, they would like break the kids up by like age group. So it would be like 5 and under, then it would be like from like 6 to about 9, and then from like 9 to 11 or 9 to 12, and then like once you hit 13, you could just you would be with the teenagers, and like with the younger kids, they used to have you on a activity track where you would move and jump from activities to activities. But once you turn 13, you could just do whatever you wanted, and they had like a 13 and over room where they had their own separate room. And I think some of them even got jobs, so they wouldn't be there every day. They would like be there part time. But some of my earliest memories, especially me coming into my queerness, particularly that I like boys, happened at this country little summer club in the South. And the last place that you think that it would be queer shit going on It was definitely queer. I definitely had my first crushes on boys in a summer club. I think I remember one of the first years at this Boys and Girls Club, bitch. I even remember the date, bitch. It had to be summer of '96. Bitch, it was this boy named Justin, bitch. And he was just so cute to me. Like, who the I can't remember what he looked like, but I just remember he was brown skin. He had a high top fade, and one of his ears was pierced, but it wasn't like a. It was like a but like he didn't have a regular earring in. It was like a thread loop through his ear. But I just remember he was so cute to me, and we used to be in a computer lab. These are when computer labs was just beginning to be a thing, and we had like the old school Apple computers. And I remember he used to do karate, and I remember I used to want to sit by him every day, and I used to think about him all the time. And then I used to be over it because he would never. So he would never stay the whole day in the program. Like he would always do half a days. So like he would leave in like 1 or 2 in the after. Like so, typically, you would typical day at the Boys and Girls Club. You would get there in the morning and you would stay from like 8 to like 4 or like 8 to 5. And I remember he used to every time we would get to the computer lab, he would leave after the computer lab because he like did karate or some shit. But I had a crush on him, bitch. The boy named Justin. It was another boy I had a crush, and at this time, my aunt who I stayed with, her youngest son, was in the Boys and Girls Club, but he was about like 16 or 17. So he was with like the older teenagers, and I rarely used to see them. But I remember he used to pick me up in the day, and I remember like the song that summer that all of like the little teenage country niggas used to play was it was either like Outkast, Me and You, Yo Mama and Yo Cut. Like that song had just came out. And the song that bitch they played the breaks off the song was Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony. I remember that song. Crossroads. Bitch, I remember that song being played to death, bitch.
That used to be my song.
but I just remember that summer of '96. I remember they used to have a TV in the little game room, and I remember that's when the Tony Braxton Making Me High video had came. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I had been to Georgia's like summers before, but once they started making me go to the programs and me having to interact with the other little kids, and then everything is so gendered in the Boys and Girls Club. You know what? I'm gonna say the first couple of years I went there, I think it was only boys. I think they didn't start introducing girls. Because I remember it was a YMCA. It was just a girls club. And then I think as I went throughout the years, they started introducing girls. But I just remember it being a lot of boys there. And like, I kind of already stood out because most of the people that lived down there, they were there like year round. So they had relationships with each other. And here I was, this little queer, proper child from the North. But I remember the kids would know that I wasn't from there, but I think they were so fascinated with me because I was from the North. Like I was like from like another planet to them. And like at that particular age that I was there, it was like really before like the other kids could catch on to the fact that I was queer, or like before like any like real bullying could start. It's just like when kids are just, oh, you're a kid, I'm a kid. But bitch, I had some of my first crushes on boys at the Boys and Girls Club in South Columbus. I remember it was what's his name? Chris? I can't remember. I think his name was Chris or something. No, Justin. Justin was his name, bitch. And then it was another boy who became like my best friend, but I secretly had a crush on him. He was Maurice, and he was like, I remember him being nice, but he was a little bit more like rough and tough. Like I just remember him always getting in trouble for shit, or always being in trouble for shit. And bitch, I just have a cute memory. And then I remember, bitch, even as a kid, bitch, looking at I just remember being a kid, being in the South, like just being enamored with like, even when we were kids, like how defined some of the boys' bodies were and how muscular some of girl, I was just so queer, bitch. I was just so queer, and I was in the mix, and I don't know. As I got older, I had gotten, and once I started to become aware that I was different and like that I was truly in fact in the South, I think it was like the summer of '99 or the summer of 2000. I started getting over going to the South, and I kind of wanted to have like my experiences of having my summers like in Baltimore just to see, what it gave. But Columbus, Georgia just has a special place in my heart because I don't know, it just is where I came into. I kind of felt like for like those X amount of years, I was able to have this safe space to kind of come into myself and kind of just like have these attractions and just be infatuated with these. I don't know. It just seemed like it was so many cute boys in the South, especially during that time. And bitch, I remember, bitch, it was like this trio of brothers. Like they were like stair-step, but one of them was in my age group. His name was Mario. And then there was the middle one. He was like a couple years older than him. And then the oldest one was the same age as my cousin. And like, bitch, all three of them was fine as shit, bitch. And I just, ooh, girl. I was always the child when we would be with the group of kids, and it would be like the really muscular child. And for some reason, they would just come out their shirt and show their little six pack. I would be the child to be like, "Oh, take your shirt off again." And I don't know if they picked up the fact that I was one of the girls, but I was, even as a child, I was boy crazy. And the fact that I had space to really be like, I really had space to be myself in the South, and also to be myself in the space of my aunt, who's very anti-queer, especially, or anti-trans as I've become older. The fact that even though she was kind of hovering around me, that I still had like freedom and latitude and space to be me and to do me. I don't know. I don't know. I look back on those childhood years, and I don't know. I just, the South is not as repressed as the media and as people try to make it out to seem, because I just had so many experiences, especially young, where I was able to be myself. Sis, did you have anything you wanted to contribute? Any memories?
Yes. So, just my childhood's growing up. So I can relate a lot. So I definitely, my after school care when I was in pretty much a lot of my education, my after school care was the YWCA. And my father also used to work on a military base. So like my summers would be participating in the like summer programs on the base, Fort Jackson. So I remember going from like activity to activity, like you said, that very like you have to get to the age where you could go to the pool room in the back and like the little team room where they had like the games. But when you're younger, the whole day, bitch, is activities, and you got this at this time, this at this time. They bringing a bitch in to do art with you, like it's a whole thing. And I remember, so my childhoods were fraught with anxiety, and here's why. So kids at school, like a day of school, it will be so structured that I thrived in school environment because it's talking. And then I was good at answering questions, and I was good with the structure of being in school. And it kind of gave me a seat of power, right? Outside of school, that's where the playing field was leveled. And I was one of the shortest in my class. I was I didn't actually start having like for real.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Box Number 512 podcast, Grown Black Trans Women Talk.
And don't forget to become a patron on the Box Number 512 Patreon page, where we have all new hot exclusive content.
And also, don't forget to follow us on our social media, on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages. And also, become a subscriber on our YouTube page. Until next time, bye.